Hello everybody, my name is Felix7 and welcome to my 2025 NASCAR playoff predictions. Oh yes, it is that time of the year again where we crown a very likely undeserving champion. Bookmark this in like 2-3 months. Come back, we need to not finishing that. Well, honestly, if like SVG won the title, who would be shocked at this point with how broken it is? Yeah, here are the 16 guys that we have heading into Dover this Sunday. Kyle Larson, and this is the exact order they are in: Kyle Larson, William Byron, Hamlin, Blaney, Bell, SVG, Elliott, Briscoe, Wallace, Cindric, Chastain, Logano, Bailey, Reddick, Dillon, Bowman. I know I'm kind of sound like I'm speeding right through this, but A, because most people should already know this, and B, I've literally spent the last 20 goddamn minutes trying to make this video. I was thinking about doing it on my actual Chromebook, only to find out that the mic sounds like pure ass. So, I'm literally on my old phone to do this, because my new phone has a little sidebar around here on this side, and it does not go when you record. So there's that. But that's all personal problems. Let's get to my predictions. Okay, so heading into the round, people I have moving on to round 12, I have Lawson, Byron, Hamlin, Blaney, Bell, Elliott, Briscoe, Wallace, Cindric, Logano, Reddick, and Bowman. So, asshole, stop! So yeah, the ones I have been eliminated are SVG, Chastain, Dillon, and Barry. Now, Dillon and Barry, there's no explanation needed. Dillon's 28th in points. Barry's not much better. Yeah, I'm sure Barry's on a roll with back-to-back top 10s, but whoop-de-doo. Now, as for Chastain, I have seen, outside of the Coke 600 win, I have seen virtually nothing. Matter of fact, if I remember correctly, without that Coke 600 win, Chastain doesn't even make the playoffs. And it's not like last year where he deserved to make it. No, this year he's just been, I don't want to say garbage, but for his standards, he's been very not great. And honestly, that goes for Trackhouse as a whole. I mean, Daniel Suarez is like 30th in points. SVG, yeah, she has the 4 wins, but he's 25th in points. And speaking of him, yeah, sure, people have him going all the way to round of 8 simply because of the fact of Louisville. The thing is, the Louisville is in the round of 12. Meaning that he'd have to make it through a whole round just to get to there. So, well, I'm not saying he can't do it. I firmly believe he could do it. It's just I don't see him doing it because we have Darlington, Gateway, and Bristol. 3 of the most challenging tracks for newer guys. And that's why, and the main one I want to point out, the ones I have making through, is Cindric. Because, yeah, sure, Cindric has not done that great this year. Last time I checked, he's like 15th in points. But I think he can make it. Because even though I don't think he's that good at Darlington, we have Gateway in this round. Which we should know. Everyone knows he's actually pretty good there. He won there last year. He's the reigning race winner. And as for Bristol, the way I see it, he'd be pretty hit or miss. There are times where he actually looks pretty solid, and there are times where he's kind of embarrassing himself. So, Cindric is very hit or miss, which is why I personally give him the edge. Be simply because of the fact that he does have a strong spot in the round, whereas Chastain and SVG do not. Yeah, she can make the argument Chastain's pretty good at Darlington, but He didn't show me anything back in the spring with the 2 races last year. So I don't really know. But yeah, that's who I'm being eliminated out of 12. Let's keep going. Okay, so making it to out of 8. I have Lawson, Byron, Hamlin, Blaney, Bell, Elliott, Briscoe, and Logano. And eliminated Wallace, Cindric, Reddick, and Bowman. Now let's start with Wallace. Don't get me wrong, he's had an actually pretty solid year. The thing about him is, I don't know if he can survive the Roval. He actually had actually a pretty good race at Watkins Glen. But the Roval is different from basically all of them. Mainly because it's probably the most banked one. Because it's literally a road course out of Charlotte. And he hasn't done well there ever. So, and also I don't know how he really does at New Hampshire. I don't think he does very well there. Kansas he might do pretty solid at, but. And then this Wes ends. Cindric, I mentioned him. Wes, he's also an okay road racer. He hasn't done much this year, though, on the road courses. And plus, I don't think he's that great of a driver at either New Hampshire or Kansas. Reddick and Bowman are the two ones I struggled with. Mainly because, yeah, sure they're winless, but they've also been pretty solid this year. They both deserve to be in here. But the thing is, who would I knock out? Lawson, I think he will make it to round of 8. Yeah, he hasn't done much recently, but I'm sure he can turn it on. Byron, Hamlin, Blaney, they're on hot streaks. Well, Blaney is. Byron's just been okay. Bell, yeah, sure, he's had been a very up and down summer, but if there's anyone who knows how to come in clutch, it's him. And Elliott and Briscoe, and I think the more ones will be Elliott and Logano, were the two I was considering bumping out in favor of Reddick and Bowman, but I ultimately went with Elliott because he's a lot more consistent than both of them, and Logano because it's Logano. I know I probably didn't really explain that well, but I'm not good at explaining things, so screw you. And making the championship for I have Byron, Hamlin, Blaney, and Bell. And being eliminated are Lawson, Elliott, Briscoe, and Logano. Now, we'll start with Logano. Because it's an odd number year. And with the exception of 2017 and 2023, which in 17 didn't even make the playoffs, in 23 he was eliminated first round. In odd number years, he usually makes it to the round of 8, but doesn't make it to the Final Four. I will not be shocked if the same thing happens this year, which is why I haven't been eliminated here. Briscoe, I actually contemplated. So, I'm going to skip him, go to Elliott. Chase Elliott, he had that hot streak in June and July. But however, ever since Dover, he's just gone back to how it was. For the entire first third of the season, he was just kind of there. There were some races where he looked like a true contender, but however, for the first third of the season, he was just there. He was running 15th to 20th, and then during the stages, then somehow by the very end, he's in 10th. And that's exactly how last year went. The only difference is that last year, he didn't have a hot streak. He was just like that the entire year. And then Lawson, I want to see him try to make it, but he just does not show the winning pace like he used to. Yeah, sure, he had a car that could win the Brickyard. Yeah, sure, if things went right, he potentially could have won Daytona. But, that's a super speedway race. Anyone can win those. Fucking Justin Haley was leading on the final lap. Fucking Cole Custer looked like he had the lead off of 4. And he just does not show the winning pace like he used to. So I think this is easily where Lawson's season ends. Back-to-back years, eliminated round of 8. And now, let's go back to Briscoe. Sorry, I've been drinking a Coke. Yeah, okay. So Briscoe, I was really contemplating between him and Bell. Because Bell has the wins, but Briscoe has the consistency. Briscoe has 10 top 5s. That's insane. That's insanity. This is first year with the team, the same team Truex had in the last 3 years, that he literally failed to win in 2 of them. This team has been a top 5 car more times than not. That is wild to me. So that's why I was really contemplating him making it all the way to the Final 4. But ultimately, I decided between him and Bell, and ultimately, I went with Bell. Because Bell has the more experience being in these scenarios, high stress, and Bell usually, outside of last year, comes in clutch. I fully expect Bell to do the same. Not wall ride, but I do expect him to perform in the clutch. Maybe win like one of the final round of 8 races. What do we have? We have Talladega, Martinsville, and Vegas. I think he wants to get redemption for Vegas. So I can see him winning that. So, and again, Bell just has the more experience. So I think Bell would edge out Briscoe. But I would not be shocked if Chase Briscoe is the one that joins Blaney, Hamlin, and Byron over Bell. And yeah, sure, Hamlin has kind of fumbled it 3 years in a row. But this year, I think we're seeing a different Hamlin. This Hamlin seems more like, what's the word I'm looking for? Committed? And plus, him and his new crew chief, they've been almost a match made in heaven. So I'm going Hamlin, Byron, Blaney, and Bell. That's my champion. I think this year he does it. I think Denny Hamlin will be your 2025 NASCAR Cup Series champion. He seems more committed than ever. He seems more... I'm trying to think of a word. I think part of me also thinks that Hamlin wants to do everything in his power to win the championship the same year he sues the sport. Just to give them the major middle finger. In a year where 23-11 in front row might not even exist afterwards, I want that to happen. So part of me really just wants me to see this, just to have NASCAR get the big old bird. But I also legitimately think that Hamlin I think he's more focused than he's been ever. Which is honestly crazy, considering the fact he was focused as shit back in 2020. Yeah, I think Denny Hamlin will be the series champion. But in the end, this is all speculation. This is all just coming from my crazy head. Because let's be real, even though I think Hamlin wins it, we gotta be realistic. If we cannot keep a Team Penske car out of the Final 4, there's a good chance they're winning the championship. Good night, everybody.